Good afternoon. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk with Mary Grace. Hope everybody's having a great day. You're on Mary Grace Media. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and Cloud Hub channel 111. So come on in. Make sure you share this and send this out. Hello, everybody. Share this with people that you know. And also, if you're on Facebook, please share this into groups. I don't think they liked my title the other day on Facebook. I used the F word, freedom. So, yeah, that's not a word they like. Anyway, uh, is this the Barley the Cat channel? I have a feeling Barley the Cat is going to take over the entire narrative here. He was just up here. He was just trying to crawl on the desk. A little bit earlier, he got into a little situation in the kitchen. He climbed up to drink out of the water glass, and he stood on the cutting board that was on the edge of the counter, and the whole thing fell off. Oh, Barley. So, yeah, he definitely has a little life of his own, and so here we go. This is a great day to be alive, and we are just taking it all back day by day. Okay, so let me do a little bit of adjustment here. Okay, so as you're coming in, please share this. As I said, if you're on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, hit the bell, and what's the other thing? Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. Somebody was just telling me that they were waiting for me on YouTube, and then YouTube told them the page was no longer available. And so they had to open a completely new tab to watch me on YouTube. So if you're on Facebook, if you moved over from YouTube to Facebook, I'm still there. It's just that they're not, they're making it seem like I'm not. Is anybody surprised by that? Because again, I used the F word in my title the other day, freedom. So we'll see how this goes. All right. Um, so here we go. I hope everybody's doing okay. It's been an interesting couple of days. My Telegram chat has been buzzing, really buzzing. But I wanted to talk about a couple things before I go into the topic that has been completely occupying everybody's minds for the past few days. Uh, yeah, I just came on YouTube. Great. Okay, thanks. So hold on just a second. YouTube is good. Okay, awesome. Make sure you are subscribed on Clout Hub. Some people are just getting on there. That is the Clout Hub is channel 111, Mary Grace Media channel 111. And if you go to Cloud Hub and you follow me over there, that's all you need to do. If you find my account, you just follow me. There's a way that you friend people and then you can follow them. Just do the follow thing, because if I don't respond to your friend request, it's not personal. It's just there's two different functions over there. So just keep that in mind. Some white noise static in the background. I don't know. Some people told me the audio is better than ever. So I'm just going to keep going. All right. Um, so did anybody watch the press briefing of Circleback Saki when they were asking her questions about the border? Who watched that? I thought it was very interesting. The press the press was actually the press was actually there is static noise. Hold on just a second. Let me see what we got here. Hmm. Oh, for some reason it's not recognizing my microphone. I don't think I can do anything about that right now. Yeah, okay, we'll just have to, if you guys can live with it, that would be great. When you say yes, I don't know what that means. So sorry. It can mean anything. All right. Well, we're just going to keep going. So here we go. We're going to keep going. So circle back Saki. The press was asking her questions, and she, I mean, what a piece of work, right? She says they inherited a broken system from the former administration. I think she was talking about Hussein, because the President Trump did a remarkable job of working with Mexico and the other nations, the other countries, to keep these criminals from coming into the border, from flooding the border. Now we're getting reports that the that the border is being overrun, and so just remember that this is what they wanted to do. So this is part of the 16-year plan to destroy America, because remember, they flooded the border with children, unaccompanied minors, during Hussein's administration, and those became the DACA kids. So we've played this record before. It's just on a replay, and so it's very interesting. And then he explained the other day that there was one section of the wall there was one section of the wall that they had left open for the trucks to go back and forth. And so what did Joe do on day one? He signed an order to reverse all of the building of the wall. So he destroyed jobs, and he left the border wide open. He didn't even fill up the gap. That's intentional. That's intentional. And the problem that's happening right now is that um, the left is actually realizing some of their mistakes. They're realizing that they're taking heat. Saki is taking heat. She's giving them canned answers. Um, I have it on good authority. I'll tell you this in a second. So what's happening down there is that she's telling them that the White House is 100% open to reporters finding out, getting information about the border, and she's referring them to DHS. But I have it on good authority that DHS is being told to refuse the press, not to allow any ride-alongs or any press on the border. So they're making DHS the fall guy for their policies, for their open border policies. That's what's happening. So I believe that we're going to hear more. Uh, we're going to see more reporting out of the border. So the truth will come out. So just hang tight, and keep the people who are at the border in your prayers, because it's a dangerous situation, and we are going to find out more. We're going to get the truth. It's going to come out. Mark my words, and we're going to actually see what's going on down there. So just hang tight, and we will see the truth. We're going to see the truth about a lot of things, and are people are asking me about certain things that are happening, and that's one of them. So I did want to just let you know. But I think that uh, I've seen something that's coming up that is concerning me, and that is this. So we've gotten through a whole year of the pandemic. We've gotten through the whole year of the pandemic. Hold on a second. I think Bartley's up to some shenanigans. Let me see. I heard a noise. I think it's okay. Yeah, so we've gotten through this whole year, and one of the thing one of the things that I think is pretty remarkable about most of my listeners is that is that you guys are pretty dialed in, and most of you saw from the start that this whole thing was a scam and an excuse to take control over your lives. Uh, so um, so that was a good thing, and I've been really pleased to see that. Most people have not given in to the fear that they wanted us to give into about the virus, even though, I mean, some of you have had it. Some of us have lost loved ones to it. Uh, you know, it's affected everybody's life. There's not a single person who hasn't been affected by this. But one of the things that we had to choose, that is a daily choice, was not to be afraid of the virus, because they were trying to scare us to death, and they did scare some people, and they put people in nursing homes. They put the elderly in nursing homes to hasten their demise. Uh, we've seen statistics that are telling us that the average death age in the nurse, of the elderly is like 78.8 or something, which is really the average age of death in America. And so we've seen clearly that 94% of the reported deaths were not from the virus. It was from people that had other things going on. Um, and so I think that you collectively have done a really good job of pushing back on the fear and not allowing, the face coverings and things like that to control your life. It's a tough balance because, it's part of the conversation pretty much all the time. And so, I mean, I've been guilty of going down that road where, you let that conversation consume you. Just talking about the whole mask situation. I mean, it's ridiculous. And so it's a topic that comes up a lot. And and so I was thinking about this because I noticed in the past few days that there is a massive focus among my listeners and a lot of other people on the pinprick, all right, on the shot, whatever you want to call it. And it's been very interesting to watch. I've had people emailing me. I've had people in my Telegram chat talking about this thing that people are really concerned about. I'm not going to say it on my channel because that's one of the things that the AIs are looking for. All right. So you guys know what I'm talking about, though. Here's what I noticed, though. All right. People are asking me for my opinion. People are asking me, especially for my opinion about the president. And the president did an interview with Maria Bartiromo the other night. Oh, first of all, let me go back and say that I made a statement recently where I didn't think that the president was asking people to take it. And somebody pointed out to me that he actually said something at CPAC about taking it. And so I just want to correct that because I hadn't heard him say that. And so then the other day on Maria Bartiromo's show, that was Tuesday night, she asked him point blank where he stood on this. And she asked him, you know, I think she said, "You and Melania have taken it. And then where do you stand on this?" And he said something to the effect of, this is he said something to the effect of, this is something that we worked really hard on. Uh, I understand some of my supporters don't want to take it. I think you should take it, but it's a personal choice. And he also said something very interesting a couple of times, and he has said this before, that the thing that nobody wants is going to save the world. It's a very interesting statement. I have not listened to the complete interview. Somebody's referencing the interview with Dr. Tenpenny on Bards, and I will listen to that because somebody's saying that she's addressed the president's opinion. So I want to I really want to unpack this a little bit because people have been asking me, and people are genuinely concerned and people are genuinely upset about his stance on this. And I, first of all, I want to make it very clear that a couple of things. The president said it's a personal choice, just like he said with the face diaper. He has always said that. He has always said that it's a personal choice. I have spoken to friends who have asked him point blank, individually, if it would ever be a mandate, if he would ever mandate it. And he said no. Now, that being said, um, personally, I'm never going to do it. I don't believe I need to. I don't want my dad to get it. This is something that I talked about with my mom when she was alive. I had gotten them to stop getting the flu thing. Okay. And so, that's just not my jam. I don't believe in it. I don't believe we need it. I don't believe it helps. I believe that, the number of people who still get the thing after they take it is pretty high. Now we're being told that it doesn't convey any real immunity, that there's a big percentage that you can still get it, that you can still spread it. So the president was telling everybody, and he's made a point of telling people about the success in getting this done. Now, everybody is entitled to their opinion. You don't need it? I agree. The president is in a different situation. So I want you to imagine for just a minute that he is on an interview and he's asked point blank about this, something that he actually was uh, was was in charge of getting done. It was under his watch that this was done. So imagine if after all of that, after a year of fighting the deep state and coming against the drug companies, pulling the FDA out of the whatever hole they were in, where they take years and years and years to get anything done, fighting the entire establishment to get this to market. I'm not saying you have to agree with it or not. I'm just saying imagine his position. So imagine that. And then imagine him standing, sitting there on the phone with Maria Bartiromo and saying, yeah, no, I'm really against it. I don't think anybody should take it. I think it's crap. I think it's poison. I think that it's going to be a bad thing. I think the drug companies are trying to profit off of this. Um, I think you should just everybody should run the other way. So I know that some of you think he should have done that, maybe. But just think about this. Think about if he did that. The president has always been a pretty straight shooter, and he has reasons for doing things that we don't always know. I don't understand his stance on it completely. I haven't talked to him personally about it. But what I do think is that it would be pretty foolish for him to it would be pretty foolish for him to sit there and do a complete 180 after all that we've been through. Because remember the remember the initial thing, the entire deep state and all of the dirty politicians, they kept saying, when we get this thing, if we only had this thing, we can open the country. That's the only thing we need. When we get this, we can open, everybody will be fine. Do you remember that? And so, so now we have people who are, I mean, he literally said, it's your choice. It's a personal choice. He said, some of my people don't want to take it. He said, I think you should. But then he said, but of course, it's your choice. He never came out and said, everybody needs to go do this. It's your choice. Now, one of the things that people are missing in the conversation that he had with her, this was something that he dropped in the conversation that nobody's talking about. And he mentioned Fauci and Birx, and he dropped a little one-liner, and he said pretty much everything they said, everything they did was wrong. Did anybody else catch that? And so this is where we find ourselves. And I think that we have a lot of people who have a lot of compassion, and they feel badly for the people who are now going out and saying they're going to get it because the president said get it. I get that. However, let's think about this for a second. If you have people who have stayed in their house for a year because they have given into the fear and because they have believed a lie, and now they are waiting for, and now they're making a decision. Now they're making a decision based on an interview with the president, and the president says, sure, why not? Take it. And they make their decision based on that. The real question that I have is, why aren't they researching? Why aren't they doing? In other words, I have compassion for them because I know they're deceived. But it's not the president's responsibility to make them understand the truth about all of this, because the truth is they're deceived about all of this. They're not just deceived about the thing, they're deceived about the whole thing. So we actually have a bigger problem on our hands. And the reaction that people are having about the president saying to take it, in some cases, I mean, people are acting like this is the end of the world and that he's got blood on his hands because he's saying, go ahead and take it. Oh, and by the way, it's your choice. I don't understand that. I find that it's concerning to me that people are getting so twisted and bent out of shape about this one thing. I mean, I've even seen people say that President Trump is a fail because of what he said about this. Think about that. So people are willing to people are willing to walk away and dismiss this president as a failure because of a difference of opinion about one issue. Think about that. And so, I know that I'm going to step on some toes here, but my point is, let's go back to my point. My point is that there are people who are really upset that the president said to take it, and that they know people who are now going to take it because the president said to take it. And what I would submit to you is that those people are not thinking for themselves to begin with. Because if they are waiting for one person to tell them to take a shot that makes it safe for them to leave their house after a year, then there's a bigger problem. There's a bigger problem here. Okay? I get that they trust the president. I get that. But we have to think for ourselves. We have to be very careful about putting all of our eggs in one basket and putting all of our trust into one person. Even though it's my president, I love him. You guys know that. I love him. I trust him. However, however, we were designed with with a mind, right? We have been given a sound mind. We have been given the ability to think for ourselves. And one of the reasons that we are in the situation that we're in, and one of the reasons that we have people who have not left their house in a year, and one of the reasons that we have people who really think that wearing a face diaper is means that you're being kind to others is because they've allowed themselves to be manipulated and not to think for themselves. So again, I get your compassion. I get that you have compassion for people that are now going to go out and take this thing against your wishes and against your better recommendation, and that they might actually end up doing harm to themselves. But what I submit to you is that the decisions that people have made um, all along, okay, the decisions that people have made all along perhaps have led up to their decision to to go and do this. It's not a popular opinion. Um, and yeah, and I'm watching your comments, Michelle. I get that people are angry about this. I'm talking about the bigger issue of people not taking the time over years to educate themselves and to think for themselves and to do the research. Because again, quite frankly, if they have not if they have not taken the steps to figure out up until this point that most of this is a big lie, and that they could have left their house and seen their grandchildren and seen their family and done the things that normal people do over time. um, we can't make President Trump the scapegoat for their decision to go out now and take this shot. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. So, you know, again, people have to make their own decisions, but they need to make their decisions based on research. I mean, President Trump could tell everybody to go jump off a bridge, and if they do it, that was their decision. Now, if they stopped and thought rationally and did a little bit of research or whatever you want to call it, then they would know that jumping off a bridge is dangerous in most cases, unless it's like a 2-foot bridge, right? So it's just, you know, it's a tough call. I get that. But you can't blame him for people making a decision. And I get that they trust him. I get that. But ultimately, personal responsibility lies with individuals. So this is a tough conversation to have, because I know not everybody's going to agree with me. And I understand that there is an agenda behind all of this that is really sinister. At the end of the day, though, it is up to each individual to find out, to listen to the facts that have been given to them, and to make their decision, and to make their decision based on fact. And I can tell you from my own experience that I have people who have not seen family members for a year or more. I know people who didn't take grandchildren to see grandparents at Christmas time because of concerns over this. And I have given them information, and I have tried to tell them that there is actually a treatment for this, that you can recover, that your mother, your mother-in-law, whatever, does not have to live in fear. And they've chosen not to take that information. So, love you, Michelle. So, it's just, we can't control. We only have so much control. We can't control other people. And so, I'm just having a hard time. I'm having a hard time watching people blame President Trump um, for people in their lives making a decision uh, when when all along they wouldn't listen to any other information. They wouldn't even be in a position. They wouldn't even be in a position of taking this or thinking that they needed to if they had been willing to listen to research or look at research or look at information that you tried to give them over time. Am I making sense here? I just, um, yeah, there's just a lot, and there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions about what's in it. There are doctors who are coming out telling us bad things. I just, yeah, yeah. I just think that it's pretty short sighted to blame President Trump for somebody making a decision to do something without having researched it first. And these are the same people who spent a year not listening when you told them that, the mask doesn't do anything, that, um, you know, that this is a virus, that it'll go away, that they could take ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine or quercetin and zinc, And the thing that I think is interesting too is that, you know, nobody blamed Trump when people made other bad decisions and listened to bad advice and chose to stay home and not live their life. When people chose to, wear the face diaper everywhere. I mean, honestly, isolating yourself and not seeing your family for a year because of the fear, we could argue that that's actually more dangerous than the potential side effects from this thing. Am I wrong about that? I just think, and people are emotions are raw. I understand that, and there are adverse reactions, and there is a sinister agenda behind this thing. And we can give people the information all day long. We can handle them. Um, we can hand them the information. We can print out volumes and volumes and volumes of facts about this thing. Um, but at the end of the day, each person bears personal responsibility for what they decide to do. Now, there is one subset of people that I think there is a subset of people that really haven't been given a choice. Some of the elderly, for the most part, uh, people are being manipulated into taking it. Uh, People are being threatened that they will lose their job if they don't take it. I understand that. I think that that it's not always black or white. It's not completely black or white. But I also believe, and I've heard this from Kat Kerr, also Johnny Enlow has said this, that God has grace for people who have been forced into a situation of putting this thing into their body against their will. That he can and will reverse the effects of it. And that brings me to my next topic, my next point, which is that I titled this, the topic of my broadcast today is what is it called? What's my title? Believe what you think you believe. Believe what you believe you believe. Believe what you believe you believe. Why did I say that? So my question is, a lot of us are believers. We believe in the healing power of Jesus Christ. And I have to be honest with you, I've been quite shocked in the past few days at the level of panic that I have seen about over this thing, over the fact that people have been taking it, that people have been willfully taking it, that people have been forced to take it, and uh, that it is, for all intents and purposes, the end of the world as we know it. The level of panic that I have seen over this uh, is quite frankly a little bit concerning because, you know, we've spent the whole year and we got through the virus. We got through this. We overcame the fear. We saw through it. And now a lot of those same people are um, are panicking, quite frankly, over this thing. That this, in my opinion, what I'm seeing is that this thing has turned into the boogeyman. I mean, this is like the Goliath of this time. And I'm hearing, um, I'm just hearing a lot of, I'm seeing a lot of panic. And for some people, it looks like that panic is replacing faith. So, do we believe that God can heal and protect us from any damage done by that thing? Or do we not? That's my question. Okay. Are we panicking and believing that God wins? That there is a good outcome to this? Or are we agreeing with the enemy's plan for our loved ones, for our nation, for our schools, for our churches, which is death and destruction? Because the language that I'm hearing and the fear porn, the panic porn that is being circulated and sent to me in my inbox and all over the Telegram chat and all over social media is quite frankly alarming. So I really I hesitated doing my broadcast today because I think that this is my opinion. All right, this is my opinion, and not everybody's going to agree with me. I'm just telling you what I see. I see a level of panic and fear about this particular procedure, about um, about the shot that is really concerning me. That Christians are allowing this thing to be a boogeyman. That they are uh, not just disappointed that loved ones are taking it, not just upset about when they learned the agenda and they learned what's in it. There's a level of panic and despair that that is, I'm trying to choose my words wisely here. It's not okay. It's not okay to give this thing to elevate this thing to the level that people have elevated it. I mean, at this point, is God not able to undo the damage? Is he God or is he not? Do you believe what you believe you believe? Or does it stop with this thing that somebody wants to put in your arm? Is God God or is he not? I mean, we spent the last year saying that he can overcome the virus. So, can he not overcome the shot and what's in it? Can he not reveal to the whole world the agenda behind it? Can he not reverse the damage? I mean, he's either God or he's not. The focus that people are putting on this is really concerning me. The power that people are giving this is concerning me. How does this thing have more power than Almighty God? I'm just asking. Not everybody's going to agree with me, but this is my observation. Okay? So, you know, somebody made a comment on YouTube. I don't believe he wants us to be lambs led to the slaughter. Of course he doesn't. People have to make individual choices. People have to fight for their freedom. That doesn't mean that we panic. I'm just seeing an incredible amount of panic. I'm not saying to lay down for this. I'm not saying, to blindly, absolutely, I'm not saying blindly go do this. But there's people have gotten through the deception of the virus. I'm seeing people right now being deceived into thinking that, I don't know if deceived is the word. I'm seeing people panic over what this thing does, and I think they're leaving God out of the equation. That's all. That's what I'm seeing. So if you're in that situation, if you're in that situation and you're scared and you're in agreement with the panic, just, I'm just suggesting that you check that you really, take it to God and, and examine where it is that you are with this. Again, I'm not advocating doing this thing. I mean, you're talking to somebody that almost got arrested for not wearing a mask at LL Bean. So I am in no way saying to give in to this. But what I'm saying is the level of power that people are giving to this one thing is really concerning. So yeah, and yeah, Sheila in YouTube says, whose report will you believe? I mean, right now, what I'm seeing is that, we've got 12 spies who've gone into the land, and 10 of them are coming back and saying, danger, 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 danger. And everybody's listening to them and agreeing with them. And then there's 2 who say, our God is able. Of course, God will heal. Yeah. So, several people that that I trust have heard from the Lord that He will heal those who have been deceived into taking it, or forced into taking it, or done it against their will. So, I mean, there's different nuances in this debate, and again, I do not agree with what is being done. I do not agree with the whole agenda. Everybody's frustrated, but we have to choose where we go with this, and people are choosing to walk in panic and fear right now, and they're spreading it. And the enemy is just having a heyday right now. Oh, good, I've got them. I mean, think about this. We stood up to the enemy through a whole year of this nonsense. And now people are running around, the sky is falling, because of what the president said the other day, and because of this thing, that is being unleashed on to the public. it really is being elevated to a place that I think is not healthy. Um, and so, do we fight it? Yeah, we fight it, but we don't fight it from a place of fear. Yeah. I mean, people are allowing him to steal their joy. Yeah, and one of the things that I would really caution you is, um, don't let him steal your joy, and be very careful about basing everything on what you see, because our faith is based on what we don't see. The things that we see with our eyes, in some places, in some ways, it looks very dire. I completely agree with that. Um, but I just want to caution you to really take a step back and look at the bigger picture. God is able, and I believe, and I will not back down from my belief that this is going to come out for the better, that the best is yet to come, that we are on the verge of goodness. Um, so, I think that I think that uh, okay, I'm going to answer Lynn's question. With so much information out there through research, and then when the person that we all trust says, go get it, how do you not question it? I'm not saying I don't question it, but again, he also said it's a personal choice. People are acting like he said, that people have to go do this. He didn't say that. Did he say that he recommends it? Um, did he say that he recommends it? Yeah. But again, people have to decide for themselves. And again, the same people that are saying, I mean, this is America, the same people that are saying, well, that's it. He said to do it. Now I can go do it. These are people who never should have stayed in their house in the first place. They didn't take the time to figure out what was true. Yeah. So, and we're not all going to agree with this on this, but people have asked me to weigh in, so I'm weighing in. Okay. And, I think that it, the bottom line is, as Americans, we really need to fight for our rights to make personal choices. And collectively, we gave that up with the initial 15 days to slow the spread. And then we allowed them to push the boundaries a little bit more. And then, and this is something that I feel very strongly about, then we went along with the mask. And I said from the very beginning, you can go back and watch my shows. I said, don't do it, because when you do this, you are giving in to their agenda, and they will not give you back your freedom. That's the bigger question here. So, people who went, people who went along with this, I hate to say it, that's why we're here right now having this conversation. So, you know, here's the other thing. Here's what I want to say about this whole thing, and about how the president had it developed, and he, went along with the shutdowns and things like that. So, because, I am going to defend him. I am going to defend him because here's what I think. I happen to believe that, um, I happen to believe, and I don't have a source on this, but I do happen to believe that last year, probably January or before, the president was aware of a pretty massive threat to our nation. Do I have intel on this? No, I don't. Maybe Holy Spirit is telling me. But I believe that there was something much bigger than the virus that was threatening our nation. And the reason that I believe that is because I know I know that he was having ventilators made. He was having PPE made. He was working on all of that back in January. And also, if you look at his reaction, if you look at what he did, if you look at what he did with deploying field hospitals, people seem to have forgotten that he put field hospitals all over the country, and he had field hospitals at points of entry all over the country, at ports of entry, at major hubs around the country. And he deployed the military. He deployed the military um, all over the country because of a virus. And so I just um, I just happen to believe that, and we may never know this, or we may know it in time. I happen to believe that the president saved millions of lives, not just from the virus, but from something else. And, he may never get credit for that because we may never actually know. It may be highly classified and top secret. I don't know. I'm just saying that I have a hunch that there was something else. And I also know that we are at war. And the things that the president has done and the decisions that he's made, for example, getting this thing developed and racing to do it, to get the country open because he saw the writing on the wall that they were going to push and push and push our country into a third world country, which is what they're trying to do now. Um, if he saw the writing on the wall, and so he had to pick the lesser of two evils. Now, I know that some of you really believe that the shot is Satan himself. I get that. I'm just telling you what I think was behind the decisions that the president made. You don't have to agree with me. But I think that um, the fact that the fact that he um, the fact that he has said that this thing will save the entire world, I don't think he's talking about a shot. I think he's talking about something much bigger, which is taking down the cabal and taking down the people who inflicted this thing on the world. And much worse, the people who've been stealing your money and my money. Um, I have to disagree with you, Kathy, on Facebook. A hunch is as scientific or spiritual as Fauci. No, actually, my hunches are usually pretty on target because they come from Holy Spirit. So there is something very spiritual about a hunch. And I'm not making a policy recommendation or decision based on a hunch. So Fauci's hunches are harming people. That's where the difference comes in. So I think I see where you're coming with this, but I disagree. Because when Fauci says that he just feels like people should wear two masks, and that's a scientific hunch that is literally affecting policy nationwide, um, that's BS. That's not the same. You can't conflate my hunches with Fauci's hunches. They're two different things. So anyway, uh, but I think that um, yeah. So I think that yeah, I think something else was going on. That's all. And it's based on what I hear from Holy Spirit, but it's also based on my observations over the last year. And so, again, you don't have to agree with me, but there's something much bigger. And I really believe that the president saved millions of lives, millions. And so, when it comes down to this, the jab, whatever you want to call it, when it comes down to that, is it bad? Absolutely. Are there repercussions? Absolutely. Are people's lives in danger from that? Yeah, I'm not denying any of that. But what I'm saying is that our president had decisions to make, and he himself told us he is a wartime president. When you are making he was making calculated decisions every single day, and every single decision that he makes carries with it the potential saving or losing of life. And that's important to understand, because because he think about this. He is the last person to make a recommendation willy-nilly, knowing that lives are at stake. I mean, he's been in the positions, he's been in a position many times of calling off operations because civilian lives would be lost. That is 100% a concern for him. So, yes, there are repercussions with taking this thing. It is the individual responsibility to learn and understand and find out what those are. And I think if we've learned nothing from the past year, we have learned that as a nation, we have been collectively asleep, and people have turned over and given away their responsibility. They have abdicated their personal responsibility. And here's another thing that I want to touch on, because the truth is that millions of people every year end up hospitalized and have major health problems, and heart disease and other things that are a result of poor diet and poor health choices, of smoking and obesity and poor eating. I mean, that's a big problem. But I don't see the people that are panicking, and blaming Trump for the shot are not talking about that. That's a major problem. And it was exacerbated by all of the horrible recommendations that were made by Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx. Stay in your house, order takeout, don't see people, don't go to church, don't hug anybody, don't have conversations with people, spend all of your time on the internet and eat takeout and eat fast food. And oh, by the way, don't get sun, which gives you vitamin D. Lock people in their houses in the middle of summer, which is when they need to get vitamin D. Why is why is everybody so worked up about this thing, the shot, and how dangerous that might be for the people who will take it, and not for the vast majority of our population that is dying from the food that they put in their body and from smoking and alcohol? I think that's a valid question. Sometimes I think people just want to have somebody to blame for their bad decisions. I mean, where is the uproar over that? Where is the panic? Where is the outrage? Alcohol, I'm reading this off of me. Alcohol, junk food, and cigarettes kill 21 million people every single year. I haven't validated that number, but it's a lot of people, okay? During COVID lockdowns, each and every citizen had full access to alcohol, junk food, and cigarettes. but we're panicking over that. I'm not saying it's not a bad. I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. I'm just saying that, you know, the thing that people have control over, they're not alarmed about. Because the truth is, a lot of people could, a lot of people could be in a much better position and not be immune compromised if they were making better decisions about their personal health. I mean, am I right? Like, where is the uproar and where is the panic? Why am I not getting, fear porn videos about the food choices that people are making, about smoking and drinking and, refusing and locking people indoors? I know people are upset about that, but do you hear what I'm saying? People have to take individual responsibility. I mean, and I've actually been pretty pleased to see so many people uh, wanting to get superfoods in their bodies because, they realize that their health decisions do have an impact. Their decisions about what they eat have an impact on their health and on their mental well-being. It makes a big difference. That's why we've had record sales with superfoods, and people are starting to wake up. People are starting to take responsibility. So I'm just looking at the comments here. And you got your superfoods this week. That's awesome. Yeah. For those of you who are new, just got through my rant. I have a superfoods business, Mary Grace Superfoods. And so, we have superfoods that are non-GMO, no soy, no fillers, no uh, synthetics, really just very, uh, very solid, sound nutrition, the best superfoods on the planet delivered right to your door. And you can get a voucher to save $100, over $100 off of your first month's supply, which is a great deal. And it's amazing. Yeah, Minnie, you do. It's so good. It'll help you so much. People tell me all the time how much it helps them, and it's also really easy. So if you have a really busy life, if you have a really busy life, this is great. Just like for me, because I can drink my superfoods. Delia loves it. Yeah, I mean, one of our shakes is like one of our green shakes is like it's the nutritional equivalent of about 6 superfood salads in one. Amazing. Somebody just asked me about the Zoom. We had a Zoom on Wednesday. There's another Zoom next Wednesday. It's a live Zoom. If you do want more information about the superfoods and you want to get in on that live Zoom, just write to me, info@marygracemedia.com. Um, Bonnie on Twitter, I probably did not see anything you retweeted on Twitter because I'm hardly over there now. Okay, so yeah, so the superfoods are really, really amazing. And oh, Joyce, you got your superfoods? Yay! That's so awesome. Okay, two things about the superfoods. If you order, make sure you get the voucher from me, info@marygracemedia.com, so you can save over $100 off of your first order. Two things. Uh, one is make sure you do the express shipping because FedEx has decided that they can't get their lazy selves to do the regular orders in less than like 10 business days. It's insane. But the other thing is make sure you set up something called a smart order because they have these rewards points that you get to accumulate for free product. And it's great. It's amazing because when you accumulate points, you get credit toward free product. And so make sure you do that. So that's two things. Okay. So thank you, Mark, on Facebook. Yeah, it's great. And our superfoods are so nourishing. They're just fantastic. And if you have inflammation in your body, this is really good. It helps a lot of people. Thank you, Linda. info@marygracemedia.com is where you get your voucher. Just send me an email, write superfoods in the subject line. And then also, if you just want to support the show, I have a Venmo, I have a Give Butter link, and and you can just write to me. You can go to the website marygracemedia.com. You can click on support, and you can do like a one-time thing. You can do a monthly thing. Thank you to all of my monthly people, by the way. You guys are awesome. All the stuff that we do, the time that I put into the show, the gear, the equipment, the internet, the programs that I use for broadcasting, all of that is because of you. So the good sound that you're hearing is because of your support. So thank you for that. And then also, when you buy superfoods, I do get a commission. So it helps me to be able to do this and not to have to go, to a 9 to 5 job. I do have other businesses, but I don't have to be away all day long and not be able to broadcast. So I can work from home. So it's fantastic. So just again, make sure you look at the superfoods. It may or may not be for you, but at least get the information. It's info@marygracemedia.com, and I'll send you some information, and then you can make a personal choice of whether you want to get the superfoods into your body and take responsibility for your own health. Uh, so yeah. Uh, okay. So, oh, by the way, tonight is a live stream on YouTube, a George live stream on YouTube. It is at 11:55 p.m. They come on very late. And so yeah, so make sure you tune into that. It really is amazing nutrition. It really is good. Yeah, your body, your choice. So make your personal choice about what to put in your body. That's what it comes down to, folks. We're Americans, and we have been given the choice, and we don't want to let those freedoms die. We do not want to surrender those freedoms. And so I hope this has been helpful. I probably will not spend another broadcast talking about the shot, but a lot of you had asked me questions. And yeah, if you want to get a message to me, it's info@marygracemedia.com. I don't tend to I don't have a lot of time to answer long emails, so just be aware of that. But yeah, but info@marygracemedia.com. Just make sure you get the voucher, get in the superfoods, and let's do this. And I will see everybody back here on Monday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Have a good afternoon, everybody. Oh my gosh, all these comments.